Delayed gratification.
Tough.
It's
It's
tough.
tough.
So I think there was 2 points that you made that I wanted to highlight on. One, in the wise words of YG, "Scared money don't make no money."
Mm-hmm.
So I think especially in our community, we're very, I mean, we just talked about the history, right? We didn't have access to much, right? So when we did have access to be able to work for money, to be able to, you know, build that, buy land or whatever, now that we have it, we want to hold on to it. We do not want to let go. So I feel like the kind of the conditioning that we're typically brought up with is to save. You save, you save, you save, you save. You put it in the bank and you don't touch it, right? You may need it for an emergency or something like that. I'm not saying you don't shouldn't have a savings. You definitely should have a savings, but you do also have to be comfortable spending some money
Investing.
to investing. Thank you. Investing some money to gain that return.
Mm.
Right. So I think that that is also a mindset shift to have. I feel like sometimes we're just like, okay, let me just put like $200 into it. That like start with stocks if you try to go that route.
Mm.
But in the game of like real estate, when you get time to like send that down payment, it's uncomfortable.
Very,
It's uncomfortable.
very.
It's going to be the largest amount of money you've ever probably spent on a thing.
By far.
But right, you're doing that with the hope that you're going to get a return that's even better, right? And that's going to
Amen.
be so worth it. So one, I just wanted to say that it absolutely does take a level of risk that you have to just be willing to take. But also two, is the delayed gratification, right? Is that yes, now you are going to have less cash. So you may not be able to go out with brunch with the girls every weekend, or you may not be able to go on that lavish vacation that you wanted to, or get that fancy car. But those sacrifices today are going to allow you to live that life that we talked about in step number one,
Right.
right? If you want that house, if you want that car, you are going to have to make some sacrifices today. And that is a we'll talk about that later, later on in Ask Declare. But that is one of the hardest parts about investing, about starting a business, about getting into real estate, about anything that you don't see the fruit for years to come,
Mm.
right? Is that delayed gratification. But I always think about like I can enjoy it now, but then later on I may not be able to live the exact life that I want to. I may not get the 12-bedroom house. I may just be in a 5-bedroom. And if you're okay with that, then
Do you really want a 12-bedroom house?
I don't want to. I don't want a
We didn't
12.
discuss
No, no,
this
no. That
before. Hold
that's
on.
just. I'm just trying to like get the point across. But
Just trying to
anyways,
prepare myself.
just think about like yes, you can live the life now, but that may not allow you to live the lifestyle you want to later. So it really just comes down to you got to decide whether you want to make the sacrifice now or you want to make the sacrifice later.
Yeah, great point.
Thank you.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah. I don't know how many more things are on your list, but can we go to the Ask Declare segment?
We can. That was a nice segue because I
It,
did just mention it.
it was beautiful, right? So the question of this episode, I believe, is for you, Queen.
Mhm.
What is the hardest part or the biggest barrier to gaining financial freedom? Like, what do you think is going to be or has been in your way?
It is exactly what I just talked about. It is the balance
12
of
bedrooms?
no. It is the balance of that wanting to live the life now and the delayed gratification.
Hmm.
Um it's tough. It is tough. And it is especially tough in like today's society and right now in 2022 where social media is just makes it so easy to see all of the lifestyles, the highlights, right? Of
Hmm.
the lifestyles that everybody lives, celebrities, people that you would never typically have like direct access to.
Right.
We can see their houses, their kitchens, their cars, right? We can see how they spend their Saturday afternoons, and it just looks so lavish. And you're like, oh, if Sierra deserves it, I deserve it, which is true, right? That's not
Hmm.
untrue. However, she started her journey earlier than I did, so
Hmm.
she's reaping her benefits now. I'm Sierra back in 2012, right? We still gotta. I don't. She might have been popping back then too. I don't know.
She was. She definitely was. I was just you claiming to be Sierra for sure. I thought you would have chosen Beyonce, but
I was. I just. when I was on Instagram earlier. I was on Sierra's, so it was
Uh,
fresh of mind.
uh,
But anyways, that has been probably my biggest struggle. Um, just because, yeah, I feel like when you go through a period of like, oh man, I work hard, I deserve X, Y, and Z, and then kind of also trying to get into the mindset of like, okay, but if you don't do that now, you can do something better in 5 years.
mhm,
That's not always easy to do because I think even our brains are wired for survival today, right?
mhm,
So we're literally fighting our bio. Delayed gratification is a great thing, but it is literally fighting our biology because our biology, everything about our brains and on our way our brains, our bodies are wired is
mhm,
to keep us alive today. It's for survival today. So, yeah, I think that's why it does make it very hard to give up something today for a better tomorrow. But I think that's also why it's important to have that you're from step one, right? That dream life, that financial freedom, make it visible. So you're reminding yourself of
mhm,
why you are making that sacrifice, right? Why you're passing up on brunch this weekend, or why you're, staying local rather than going international for that vacation, you know, so that it doesn't seem like a loss, right? It's just a postponing,
mhm.
postponement, if you will, right? But it's not a
Yes,
loss. I think that's been one of my biggest struggles.
I'll co-sign that.
Thanks.
Let's see. Well, I want you to think about how you can, because I have a way, but how you can or help other people get over that struggle,
Mhm,
right? Like, what's a practice, a habit, a mindset, that you can actually do that kind of helps. And for me, it's the meditation,
mhm,
like meditating each day. Usually, when I meditate, I am thinking about the future. So when I'm awake or when I come to and I'm being active, I'm now taking action steps towards that future
mhm,
instead of immediately right here, if that makes sense. Um, but my biggest struggle, which should be no surprise to you, Queen, is focus slash having too many brilliant, amazing ideas.
that you do.
And I think it's a gift, it's a blessing because good ideas are great when you can and you have the time, the capacity and the team to make it a reality. It's great. But when you have 5 to 7 different projects that you're trying to do at the same time and you're passionate about all of them and you love all of them, you think all of them are brilliant. Now your 24 hours that you have is divided by the 7 ideas that you have, and it's just really not possible,
Right.
right? So my struggle is over committing time,
Mhm,
money, and resources to several different ideas instead of consolidating it down and being like, you know what? I'm going full force into this one thing.
mhm.
Gosh, I'd never done that. I'm going full force into these 3 things, right? And being comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
Definitely working to get better at that
you're getting
on
better.
new ideas. I just write them down. I'm sorry, we'll do that later. We'll do that later. But yeah, I think that's still the biggest barrier for me slash us getting financially free is being willing to put more time and energy into fewer things and letting those grow, letting those build. And then once they get to a point where they are passive, now okay, now we can put something else on the list,
Right.
right? Um, yeah, it's rough.
I know.
It's rough.
I think I do think that you've gotten a lot better.
Thank
Like I
you.
feel like you'll be like, oh, I thought about this song idea. I thought about this movie idea, and I wrote it down. I'm like, okay, good. That's all we're gonna do for now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think because you're such an action oriented person, so I feel like for you, once you get that idea, you want to take
Let's
that step,
go.
right? You were
Yeah.
like, let's go. But then yes, yeah, now you have 12 projects that you've taken a first step on all of them, and now what?
Yeah. That's something that I'm also trying to get actively better at with everything that I do is finish it.
Hmm.
Right. So if I'm watching a YouTube video and I'll be multitasking and I'll be like, oh, I didn't finish that video. I'm like, "Ah, I forgot I don't need to finish it. But like, no, get into the mindset of finishing the video if there's value in it, right? If it's a video that isn't really giving me value, I'm not gonna finish it. But if it's like a podcast, if
Hmm.
it's one of the social proofs, secret to success, something that's definitely pouring into me, I'm like, Devon, finish that.
Hmm.
Books on Audible. I'm now trying to get to a point where I finish an entire book before I go to the next book, listening wise,
Hmm.
not reading physically. my 100 push-ups a day. Like, wake up, do your yoga, do your 100 push-ups, finish. And I
Mhm.
think getting in the mindset of finishing small things is helping me get into the mindset of finishing the projects.
That's good.
Mm.
Good
Thanks,
job,
Queen.
King.
Thanks. It's an internal, eternal battle.
I know.
That's the better word.
I know.
Mm. But speaking of projects, so we're toward the tail end of it now. Again, we just kind of want to have a conversation about what financial freedom means. What does Juneteenth mean to you, to your family in 2022? For us, it's really, or not for us. For me, it's centered on financial freedom. Is it financial freedom for you? What's Juneteenth for you today?
I just said freedom in general, but I mean, it is financial freedom is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also the freedom to, like I said, do what you want with your time, which is possible with financial freedom.
Gotcha.
I feel like if you are bound to, again, trading time for money, you may be lucky and find a job that you just love and, are not worried about
Mm.
waking up and having control of your time. But um, yeah, I think it does at its core boil down to financial freedom so that you can do whatever else you want with your life.
Got it. And we had 3 steps for the people to gaining that their financial freedom. Step number one was defining what financial freedom is to you, and that should have a dollar sign, a dollar amount connected to it, and what that lifestyle looks like: house, car, partner, kids, private chef, pool. What are those things that are on your long list of wants and dreams, and how much is that going to cost you? Step number two is going to be,
Determine your income streams, passive, active, whichever. Well, really, you should have both. But especially the passive income is that if that's not something you've actively thought about, definitely something you want to start thinking about. And what the income stream, the passive income stream that we really are diving into and we recommend is real estate.
yep. And last but not least, execute the plan. Write it down and follow through on those daily, those weekly, those monthly habits and things that you need to do in order to get to your goal. Cool.
Yep.
Good luck with y'all, right? Queen, update before we get on out of here and eat some good food to celebrate Juneteenth. You
Woo,
know what I'm talking
woo.
about. Make sure y'all go support a black business today. Get some soul food, some barbecue, some vegan soul food, whatever it is. Put your dollars into the black community today.